in Los Angeles. And there were some people who got in there who said, "You lied. What about the lies? What about the middle-class tax cut?" He was totally shocked. You could see it yelping. He was stunned. He didn't know how to deal. He was assuming that everybody in there was going to love him and was going to lap up all that fraud and all that deceit and swallow it without a question, with nary a doubt. And here are these people in here, and do you know how, did you see how mean this guy got? Did you see how he immediately, as my assistant HR pointed out to me today, these people heckling him could have voted for him. They might have voted for him expecting a middle-class tax cut, but he assumed that they didn't and immediately launched into criticism of you guys and your 80s and everything. Never once answered the question about, what about the lies? What about the middle-class tax? All he did was trash the 80s. This guy can be had. I mean, he was stunned. And that's what I mean. But when I say doesn't have a grip on reality, they live in these fantasy worlds and everybody loves them, and that the people will appreciate their good intentions and their smartness. And by the way, I want to correct something I said about Hillary. I made a misnomer. I said that the appearance of impropriety should be enough to disqualify Mrs. Clinton from this health care task force business. I'm sorry. She is not an employee of the government, and as such has no ethical requirements. I'm sorry. I was being unfair. I was applying standards to her which don't exist. She's not an employee of the government. She's in charge of the whole thing. She's in charge of practically all of it. She's not an employee of the government, so ethical laws and those kinds don't apply. What was your question? Right. She can be as unethical as she wants. She's not really doing anything. She's not an employee of the government. She's not part of the government. She wasn't voted, elected. She's there. But and did you hear this? It wasn't enough that she had to get a new hairdo. So did he. Did you hear that they kept Air Force One on the ground 45 minutes at the end of the day in L.A. before he flew back to Washington? So you get a haircut? He brought somebody in from Rodeo Drive to cut his hair aboard Air Force One on the tarmac at LAX. And he spent $200 on this haircut. Now, the White House put out a story, hey, the Clintons pay all their personal experiences. They do? Okay. So she just spent $250 on a haircut at the Waldorf Hysteria on Saturday afternoon. And he just got a $200 haircut. And this guy that cut his hair in Air Force One is going to open a shop, a hairstylist salon on Connecticut Avenue in D.C. Delayed Air Force One. It's his plane. I mean, he can do whatever he wants. But I mean, sit there in the tarmac, get a haircut on board Air Force One and delay it for 45 minutes to an hour. Now, I have this question. We've learned a lot about Hillary and Bill's finances lately, have we not? We learned that their income or their assets are worth between $570 and $1.7 million. And we know that he, the husband, has never earned more than $33,000 a year. So the money has come, well, the money has come from Mrs. Clinton sitting on boards. She's done well at the Rose Law Firm in Little Rock, and they paid off about $150,000 or $200,000 in loans last year. So, and then what year is this? This is 93, and they paid all this stuff off with income that came before 1993. Is that not true? Now, here's what I'm thinking. By the way, the thing that the net worth that I want to make clear is not their salary, it's not income. That's what they've got after they've paid their taxes, this is their stash. They got a big stash. And the husband's never earned more than $33,000 a year. They're in their mid-40s, 46. 45. They made this stash of money when? Wouldn't you say after they became 30? I mean, we don't know, but after they became 30. Now, it seems to me that we're talking about a period of time here which are commonly known as the 80s. Doesn't it seem to you? Doesn't it seem to you that the assets that now comprise the net worth of the Clinton family were acquired in the 80s? These people made out like bandits during the 80s. A guy who never made more than $35,000 a year has assets that could be as high as $1.7 million. We don't know because they're somewhere in that range. How did they do it? Did they do it by targeting new technologies? They do it with manufacturing, inventions, employment, paper pushing? How'd they make the money? Job retrading? Who knows more about greed and paper pushing than the Clintons? They benefited from it. I think they ought to give it back, like Phil Donahue. Give it back. It was ill-gotten. You got it in the 80s. Give it back. Welcome to the decade of deceit. Welcome to the decade of fraud. We'll be back with more in a moment.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Imagine, my friends, a publication unafraid to print the truth, a beacon of light, a source of sanity you cannot be without. Well, this is exactly what the Limbaugh letter is. This is my newsletter, folks. It is the authoritative spokes publication that arms you with all you need in the ongoing struggle with a modern liberal agenda. My newsletter provides my most in-depth, hard-hitting conservative analysis, and it's there on a page for you to keep. It's not waffling off in space someplace. It's there on paper. And it's some stuff that is not done on the radio or on TV is in the newsletter. The June issue of the Limbaugh letter features my conversation with Charles Barkley, currently involved in the NBA playoffs with the Phoenix Suns. He's an all-star power forward with the Suns and has an inspiring pursuit of excellence story that anybody would benefit from reading. Call 800-457-4141 for the Limbaugh letter. Low charter rates, $29.95. That's 1 year for 12 issues. Get your credit cards ready. It's 800-4141.
Tax, tag, dock, and $1,000 half-cost reduction or extra. If I told you that right now at Honda City in Goldsboro there was a way you could drive a new 93 Honda Accord LX 4-door for only $239 per month, would you be interested? If I told you that at Honda City the Honda Accord has an automatic transmission, air conditioning, AM/FM stereo with cassette, rear window defogger, cruise control, and more, would you be interested? And if I told you that you only had to commit to pay the $239 per month for 2 short years, would you be interested? Well, all of this is true at Honda City here in Goldsboro. For a limited time, you can drive a new 93 Honda Accord LX 4-door for only $239 per month and commit for only 2 short years. Selection is great, so hurry to Honda City of Goldsboro and drive your new Honda Accord for only $239 per month. This offer is for a limited time, so cars will be delivered to the consumer on a first-come basis. Honda City, Highway 70 East Bypass, Goldsboro. Honda Accord, $239 per month. Honda City, Goldsboro. Special restrictions apply.
My wife and I went to see a marriage counselor, and he told us where to go. I'm just a good old working boy, and I don't make much dough. So when I want to get my money's worth, I know just where to go. Yeah, I know just where to go. And he was right. Sandpiper Seafood had the answer to all my wife's cooking. They served us the best food we ever had. Now me and my wife get along real fine, except that she can't keep her hands off of me. She's always pawing me like a lovesick pup. Sweetheart, will you stop that for just a second? Yeah, Sandpiper Seafood did the trick. Got my marriage back in order, and the food we had was great, but now my wife, woman, stop it. We're going to have to censor this commercial. Now, you best listen to this old boy and follow my good advice. They got what you're looking for at a price that's really nice. Yeah, Sandpiper Seafood, halfway between Goldsboro and Kinston on Highway 70 East and LaGrange. It'll save your marriage.
We're the talk of the town, 1150 WGBR.
grab a call. Haven't done that in about an hour. Let's go to Grand Rapids, Michigan. Chad, hello. Oops, Chad checked out. Chad no longer there. Chad was going to chastise me, it says up there, for not having talked about the Freedom of Choice Act. Wanted to know why I hadn't talked about it. See, this is what I meant when I began this broadcast today. You people say, how come you go through this list of things you're going to talk about? Why don't you just talk about it? Because I want you to know what I've noticed and what's important and what isn't important. The Freedom of Choice Act is something that we have addressed constantly on this show. We have been totally upfront and honest about what it is. We have sent out the warnings. It's abortion on demand at any time. Anybody can get one, and the government's going to pay for it. And David Wilhelm, chairman of the Democratic National Committee, agreed to that description of the act on Meet the Press recently. Where is it? Novak wrote about this today. Where is this? Where's this? Where do we find the column? But I mean, it's plain and simple what these people want to do. Now, it's doubtful that it's going to be, excuse me, passed into law that way, but that's what the Democrats want. It's not the view of the American people, ladies and gentlemen, that despite what you think, the best way to describe the majority view on abortion is to simply say that most people want it to be legal. They want there to be as few abortions as possible. They want it to be legal, but they don't want there to be any abortions. But they sure say there's no polling data out there to suggest. In fact, it's just the opposite, that the American people think that anybody could get it, should be able to get an abortion anytime, paid for by the American taxpayer. That's what the Freedom of Choice Act is. Take a break, back with more after this.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
It's timely. It's informative. It's interesting. It's educational. It's enlightening. It is educational. Did I say educational? I said it's educational. It's all of these things and more. What, oh, pray you ask, do I refer to? I refer to the Conservative Chronicle. As you know, a charter advertiser of the Rush Limbaugh program. You are conservative, even if you're not conservative, even if you're liberal and you want to know the heart of conservatism, that's the Conservative Chronicle, because every conservative newspaper columnist and thinker published in America today is published in compendium form every week in the Conservative Chronicle. This is it. This is the only source to find out what all of these brilliant thinkers think. Opinion based with fact is unstoppable when it comes from conservatives. The Conservative Chronicle is $39 a year for 52 issues every year. 800-888-3039 is the number. That's 1-800-888-3039. Call them now.
It's May savings now at Leaders in downtown Goldsboro. Save on ladies' entire stock of ladies' plus-size coordinate sportswear, 30% off the regular price. All remaining ladies' swimsuits are 50% off. Ladies' canvas shoes, children's canvas shoes, men's and women's bedroom shoes, and ladies' sandals are priced right at $3.99 to $5.99. And enjoy savings in all the other departments during the May savings sale at Leaders, 126 West Walnut Street, downtown Goldsboro.
And howdy, friends. I'm here to tell you about the River House Restaurant. They're open Wednesday through Sunday, and now they're better than ever. Featuring pork ribs and Texas-style beef ribs. Yeah, and they got more, like seafood and chicken and steak. They got vegetables, desserts. They got salads and carved roast beef and ham. At River House Restaurant's open 5 to 10 on Wednesday and Thursday nights. They're open 5 to 11 Friday and Saturday nights. And they got all you can eat for just $9.99. And you can eat on Sundays for lunch now from 11 to 2:30 for just $6.75. Kids 11 and under can eat for $3.99. Now that's the River House Restaurant, open Wednesday through Sunday. and better than ever. You'll find them at 413 East New Hope Road in Goldsboro, and you can call them at 778-5515.
Ooh-wee! Serial port, parallel interface, modem, fax, RS-232, AB switcher, mouse. Why, this is confusing.
Well, stop by AIM Electronics. See the new line of computer accessories. QVS and AIM Electronics can make your computer connection simple. AIM Electronics has a new and expanded inventory of computer accessories. QVS with a complete line of computer accessories at competitive prices at AIM Electronics that you won't believe. QVS and AIM Electronics, making the right connections for you. AIM Electronics, 411 East Ash Street, Goldsboro.
This is Rush Limbaugh on the Talk of the Town, 1150 WGBR. Hey, we have a sexual harassment update the next hour. The next segment of the next hour. Be there, folks. It's the first time it's ever happened. This is Lauren, Baldwin Park, California. Welcome to the program.
Well, good morning, Rush.
Hi, how are you, sir?
Fine, thank you, and you?
Good.
Well, I wanted to let you know that Jay Leno last night was talking about comparing your group with the bake sale and things to the convocation of Nazis in 1933.
I saw
And
it.
I was very upset about it.
I saw it.
You saw it?
I was watching last night for some reason. I had the Tonight Show on, and I'm watching the monologue, and he starts talking about the bake sale again. This is a third joke, like last week and this week, and the third joke in the last 2 weeks that he's told about me, and the second time he's mentioned the bake sale. He mentioned his bake sale, and he said this is going to be the conservative version of Woodstock, and he said, gee, I don't know if I can handle seeing Rush Limbaugh nude in the rain holding up a candle.
Yeah.
Which I still don't know what that means. Maybe there was a picture of Woodstock of some nude people holding him. I don't know. But then he said, yeah, you're right. Then he said there has not been such a large gathering of conservatives since 1933 in Berlin.
Yes. Now, that was hideous.
Well, you know what it is? I mean, and the audience, it died. These guys, it's just the latest example of either a president, a politician, or a comedian embarrassing themselves trying to tell a joke about me and this audience. And
Yes.
it's just, you know what it means, Lauren? I think they just don't understand. They're sitting out there trying to figure out, why has this guy got such a large audience? Why do these people like this guy so much? And the only way they can explain it, Geraldo Rivera, in an interview the other day that I saw in the Phoenix paper, they all attribute it to a cult. They're beside themselves with curiosity, trying to understand why it is people are drawn to this program and so forth. And I think, jokes like this, like you and everybody else, I'm sure a joke like that doesn't make anybody laugh because it's not a believable joke. It's not believable. It's not based on anything. But, boy, you talk about what's the cliches and I mean, easy laughs. That's not at all what you would think is on par with material from a guy who's got the Tonight Show.
Yes. And if you write a letter, they merely hold that up as the fact, well, look at all the fan mail he's getting.
Well, I don't know about that. That can cut both ways. You can write a letter, call, do whatever you want. I don't encourage that or discourage that. That's totally up to you. But I think the thing you have to realize is that most people who saw that, you're not the only guy, Lauren, who said, that's not right. Most people's sensibilities are offended by that because it isn't true. A comedy has to be based in truth if it's going to work.
Here's a real mystery. What's never on your shopping list, but always ends up in your shopping cart? It protects your food, yet you can see right through it. Ooh, the mystery deepens. Last clue. It's strong enough for your car's body panels, yet resists dents from runaway shopping carts. You give up? It's plastic. Life-enhancing plastic helps us in so many ways. The only real mystery is, what would we do without it? Sponsored by the American Plastics Council.
I don't drive no limousine, don't fancy that fine cuisine. I got no use for that rat race routine. I go simple, I go easy, I go Greyhound.
Leave the
car home and leave the driving to us, because we've cut our fares to thousands of places. No advance purchase and no strings attached.
I go easy, I go Greyhound, and leave the driving to us.
We're the talk of the town. 1150 WGBR, Goldsboro's very own.
From ABC News, I'm Gary Nahn. Some conservative and moderate senators displeased with the president's plan to shrink the deficit have presented a plan of their own. Oklahoma Democrat David Boren says the plan leans a lot more on spending cuts than on tax increases.
Our plan achieves a ratio of over $2 in spending cuts for every $1 in tax increases. Taxes are increased by only $150 billion in our plan, as opposed to $272 billion in tax increases under the budget resolution.
Warren also says benefit programs such as Medicare should be part of any deficit program. President Clinton says this plan is not the answer because it hits people who can afford it least.
It's basically a $40 billion shift away from wealthy Americans right on the people just above the poverty line, the elderly and the working poor. So I don't support that.
Senate Democratic leader George Mitchell is predicting the Finance Committee of the Senate will turn down the Danforth-Boren package. Some parents in suburban Detroit say they fear crime so much they forfeited a softball game recently rather than let their daughters play in Detroit. Parents of the Detroit competitors say the decision may have been at least partly motivated by racism. The teams are in a league run by the Catholic Youth Organization. The team from suburban Madison Heights is all white. The Detroit team is mostly black. Ned McGrath of the Archdiocese says the problem can be worked out.
Maybe they would have a student exchange program. Maybe we could have a joint parish meeting. We're looking at reconciling this on a couple of different levels. We'll respond to it on an athletic league level, but we also want to work on the attitudes as well.
Detroit police say they don't consider the area where the game between 5th and 6th graders was to be played a high-crime area. Forensic experts in Texas say they believe David Koresh was killed by Stephen Schneider after fire broke out at the Branch Davidian compound last month. The Houston Chronicle also says pathologists believe that Schneider then committed suicide. Both were in the compound communications room when the fire started. You're listening to ABC News.
Sonia, why are you jumping on the bed?
I've been to Sears Supersized Mattress event.
Really?
Yeah, great prices on Sealy and Spring Air Queen and King mattresses. This Spring Air Dreamer queen size set is just $199.99.
Under $200 for a queen size set? Let's get to Sears.
Okay.
Nice dismount.
Thanks.
Get great buys on mattresses through Memorial Day at Sears Home Life Furniture and most Sears stores.
You can count on me, Sears, Roebuck and Company.
Denny's asked America what they wanted in an all-you-can-eat breakfast.
I want more than just a lot of food.
I want a lot of choices.
Bacon, pancakes, and eggs any way I want them. The whole shooting match.
I want the impossible. I want all I can eat. I want it fresh.
And I don't want it warmed under a lamp.
I want it all off the menu, and I want you to bring it to me.
They do that at Denny's. Denny's.
America, there's a new all-you-can-eat Grand Slam breakfast menu. Only $3.99 and only at Denny's.
Is that too much to ask?
6 to 10 a.m. priced higher on weekends. Only at participating Denny's.
Oregon Republican Senator Bob Packwood is off the hook. The Senate Rules Committee has voted down a plan to investigate whether Packwood should be denied his seat because he hushed up sexual harassment charges. 7 Americans are believed to have been aboard a Colombian jetliner that crashed northwest of Medellin, Colombia. Crews have sighted but not yet reached the wreckage on a remote mountainside in the Andes. With their diplomas, graduates of Temple University in Philadelphia have gotten an earful of entertainer Bill Cosby, an alumnus. The story from reporter Tom McDonald.
Temple University's most visible alumnus, Bill Cosby, took time out to attend the university's commencement and impart some of his wit and wisdom to the class of '93.
This is probably the only time you'll ever hear grown people look at you and say, Godspeed. Because that's how fast they want you out of the house.
Cosby got serious in telling the graduates not to worry about where their education came from, just that they've earned one. Tom McDonald for ABC News, Philadelphia.
The head of financially troubled Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield, the biggest nonprofit health insurer in the country, resigns. Albert Cardone says he's quitting the company to pursue other interests and spend more time with his family. The number of newly laid-off workers filing claims for jobless benefits jumped by 7,000 last week to 344,000. Much of the jump due to a surge in claims in California at the start of a new benefit computing period. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial's up 4.38 at 35.04. This is ABC News.
On any given day, the average American is interrupted
Excuse me.
73 times. They endure 60 minutes of acute stress. And 2,005,479 people
Okay, who ordered the chili?
experience heartburn at least once a day. Luckily, Rolaids gives fast relief. So while there are lots of things you can't change, you can change the way you feel. An original and calcium-rich, Rolaids spells relief.
Use as directed. For the ABC Information Network, I'm Gary Nunn.
Well, northwesterly winds will continue to blow autumn-like air into the region. We'll have more clouds than sun on tap for this afternoon. Temperatures only in the upper 60s in the cooler northern areas along the Virginia border like Roxborough and Henderson. Mid-70s further south at Clinton and Lumberton. Tonight, partly cloudy and cool, lows 48 to 52. Tomorrow, sunshine in the morning, variably cloudy skies in the afternoon. We can't rule out a brief shower tomorrow afternoon with highs only 65 to 70. I'm Brian Orzel in the Weather Center.
Thanks, Brian. Right now it's 75 degrees as we return to the Rush Limbaugh Show right after this.
24 hours a day, the North Carolina News Network Weather Center will keep you informed with the very latest weather developments. This is meteorologist Greg Fischel. Get the latest weather information for Eastern Carolina right here on 1150 WGBR.
This is meteorologist Bill Schmidt in the North Carolina News Weather Center. Find out the latest weather information throughout the day with the most up-to-date forecast right here on your first information source, 1150 WGBR.
You're listening to the Rush Limbaugh Show on 1150 WGBR.
The views expressed by the host on this show are not necessarily those of the staff, management, nor sponsors of this station. Actually, that's probably not true anymore. I imagine that we've already accomplished that. And we're just going to keep on, folks. Happy you're with us. Let's get started for another hour.
This is a special edition of the Rush Limbaugh program, America Held Hostage. And now, from our studios in New York City, here is Rush Limbaugh.
Thank you, John Donovan. Day 121, 121 days of the hostage crisis, known as the Raw Deal. The Clinton presidency, the doctor of democracy. Serving humanity with half my brain tied behind my back. Maybe, my friends, literally, I feel the past, past couple of days, maybe you have felt this way on certain days when you've been at work or whatever you're doing, you feel less than totally concentrated. You ever felt that way? You're just distracted or what, the energy level or whatever? That mine is not an energy level thing. I think mine probably is sleep deprivation. The more I think about it, even though I have, it's a challenge to wake up. It takes me about a half hour from the first moment of consciousness to actually getting out of bed. I'm not one of these people, oh boy, it's a new day, and bam, I'm, running off. It takes me a while because I go to bed so late. And I just told Bo Snerdley, I think I've had access to half of my vocabulary these past 2 days. I've been sitting there thinking, I want to say, what I wanted, the words haven't been coming. But my question to you is, how many of you people would have even known I was in this condition had I not told you? None of you. Absolutely none of you. Proving, ladies and gentlemen, that I do indeed, can indeed, and apparently have this week. Done this show with half my brain tied behind my back. It's time for a sexual harassment update. I don't want the one where I sing. I got letters on that. Oh, gosh, I was so depressed. That's so depressing to hear you say those things. I thought they were funny. Depressing. Eyes explode you.
Oh, I never laid a hand on you. Eyes explode you. Like a million miles away from me, you couldn't see how I adored you. So close and yet so far. Carried your books from school, and make believe you're married to me. You were 5th grade, I was 6th when we came to be. Walking home every day, over bottom that brings you today. Till we grew into me and you went on different ways.
Boy, I bet there's some people wishing that had happened. Gloria Allred handled this case. It's the first known case of sexual harassment where a woman harassed the man. A jury has awarded more than $1 million in damages to a man who claimed he was sexually harassed on a daily basis by a female chief financial officer of some outfit out in California. The attorney who handled this, as I say, was Gloria Allred, whose firm handled the case, said that the verdict probably was the first in favor of a man suing a woman for sexual harassment. Sabino Gutierrez, 33, of Ontario, California, says he was subjected to unlawful sexual harassment and that a company where he worked should have taken steps to prevent the abuse alleged against Maria Martinez. It was a unanimous verdict. The jury ordered the company for which this woman works to pay Gutierrez $375,000 for his emotional distress, $82,000 for economic losses, and $550,000 in punitive damages. Martinez was asked to pay $10,000 in damages herself. Company has to pay the rest. Martinez, by the way, why do you think I'm speaking this way? Because of the new, the English only. We're just trying to relate. We know what's going on down in Miami and Dade County. Trying to relate. Martinez is married with 2 children, has denied any sexual involvement with Gutierrez, who is also married. She could not be reached for comment. Which one is Gutierrez and which one's Martinez? I've already forgotten. Anybody remember? Martinez is her. That's true. Now, the owner of the company said this whole thing is absurd. Now, do you want to know what happened? Do you want to know? The story in the LA Times does not detail what happened. Do you really want to know? Do you believe it, by the way? Now, the jury has spaketh. You know, I do miss the vocabulary. I used the word the other day I didn't even know existed. That's how on I was the other day. I used forsook. I just know this sounds right, and it was. It was forsook. It didn't. I'll tell you what she did to him. And the jury agreed to this. I mean, this is not a Clarence Thomas, Anita Hill situation. Now, also, I want to see the other guys come forward. As we all know, because we've learned that people who are guilty of sexual harassment don't just do it one time. It's a pattern. It's part of an ongoing behavioral pattern. And so I want to see this list of men that come forward. Here's what happened. This took place, by the way, over 6 years. I imagine the first 3 or 4, the guy kind of dug it, and after a while got tired of it, and then here's what happened. Gutierrez, in his lawsuit, claimed that Martinez hugged and kissed him and fondled him. They fondled him, genitals in the office, fondled his genitals in the office. regularly from 1986 to 92. The 80s. The 80s, 6 years for this. And they also, Gutierrez also acknowledged during the trial and in a news conference yesterday that he had sex with Martinez once in his condo in 88. So that was in the period 86 to 90. So he had sex with her, and he still got $1 million out of her for sexual harassment. Now that's having both ways. It's about time we got ours. Today we're on the inside. We got the sex and we got the money. I'm just kidding. I am trying to illustrate, my friends. I am simply trying to illustrate the folly and stupidity and the extremism on the other side of this issue, too. If it's going to be us versus them, then I'm going to celebrate when our side wins. Gloria Allred was his attorney. I think. See, this story doesn't say. I am not clear, but attorney Gloria Allred's firm handled the case, says the verdict. I can't imagine Gloria Allred defending a man, but she's so desirous of publicity that you never know. It's entirely possible. One more thing, also from Los Angeles. Doctors should consider whether old men with prostate cancer really want to live longer if surgery or radiation treatment might make them sexually impotent or unable to hold urine. Some elderly men already are deciding they are better off leaving their slow-growing prostate cancer untreated and living a shorter time rather than having a longer life that's marred by urinary incontinence or sexual impotence. Researcher Mark Litwin has detailed and revealed all this. He's a professor of urology and public health at UCLA. I wonder if this study took place in the Hispanic Studies Department. Scheduled to present his findings today at the American Urological Association's annual meeting in San Antonio. Hey, San Antonio. You know what's going on in San Antonio tonight? Game 6. The Phoenix Suns and the San Antonio Spurs. Suns are up 1 game. I wonder what the presidents of the American Conference of Urologists, what the effect of that in the game might be. You look for any advantage you can get. Anyway, well, so there you have it. This can be exciting news to Jack Kevorkian. We'll take a break and be back in just.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Here's news about a revolutionary product that's energizing America. It's called Ginsana. Ginsana is the most unique herbal product in history. I'm Dr. Ronald Hoffman, medical doctor and nutritionist. If you get tired easily, if you've lost your competitive edge, you should know about Ginsana. Ginsana is the all-natural, energizing ginseng capsule. Ginsana is the first standardized ginseng extract, the only ginseng product clinically tested for 25 years. Who benefits from Ginsana? Middle-aged men and women, senior citizens, busy executives, college students, and athletes. It's often imitated, but there's only one Ginsana. All natural, no sugar, no caffeine. If you tire easily, if you've lost your competitive edge, try Ginsana and feel the energy.
Ginsana at Kmart, Rite Aid, Osco, Savon, F&M, GNC, Harris Teeter, Peoples, CVS, Myers, Faze, Winn-Dixie, and natural food stores. For a free brochure, call 800-777-2000. That's 800-777-2000.
Dear Hooked on Phonics, for 27
embarrassing years, I had a secret. I could barely read. I tried many reading programs. Nothing worked. Then I got hooked on phonics. In 2 months, I went from a 3rd to a 10th grade reading level. Since Hooked on Phonics, I finished trade school and have my own business. If you have a problem with reading, try Hooked on Phonics. It changed my life. It could change yours. Signed, Eric, Zanesville, Ohio.
Call 1-800-ABCDEFG.
Ever wished you could find a car dealer who would give you fair prices and courteous service? Ever heard of Courtesy Buick GMC Truck Mercedes in Goldsboro? Ever been there? You need to go there to Courtesy Buick GMC Mercedes, because that's what you'll get and more. At Courtesy Buick in Goldsboro, you'll find a large selection of new Buick cars, a large selection of new GMC trucks and vans, and a large selection of Mercedes-Benz cars. Say you're not looking for a new car? At Courtesy, you'll also find the area's largest selection of program cars. You know the ones. They're used cars sold to the dealer by the manufacturer, and most still have some factory warranty left. Prices on these cars start as low as $64.50, and that includes automatic transmission and air conditioning. Say you're not looking for a car at all? Well, at Courtesy Buick GMC Truck Mercedes can still help. They rate their customer service department second to none. With their factory-trained technicians, they can offer routine maintenance and major repairs at substantial savings. So if you're looking for a car or truck, or just need your present car serviced, go by Courtesy Buick GMC Mercedes today and visit with some of the nicest folks you'll ever meet.
It's time to get a Best Buy just right for you. New home sewing machines, a creative sewing center in Goldsboro had some very special prices. The new home JA1518 with easy threading system, button holder, and much more, now only $199. The new home MyLock 203 serger that gives a beautiful professional finish to a wide variety of seams, hems, and edges, and does much more, now only $249. So we're the best. New home and creative sewing center on North Berkeley Boulevard across from Adamsville Baptist Church in Goldsboro.
The 18th anniversary sale of Nahana Pork Center is May 14th through the 22nd. Stock up on delicious Nahana Pork products. A pound of barbecue, buy one, get one free. Smoked bacon, buy a package, get one free. Smoked sausage, 10 pounds, 99 cents a pound. Get free barbecue sandwiches Thursday and Friday till 4 p.m. and on Saturdays till 2 p.m. Nahana Pork Center's 18th anniversary sale open Monday through Friday till 5:30 and Saturdays till 3 p.m. In northwestern Wayne County from Highway 70 or 581. Just follow the big yellow signs that say Nahana Pork Center.
Hi, this is Rush Limbaugh on your first information source, 1150 WGBR. It's the decade of deceit, the decade of fraud in the era of Limbaugh. The EIB Network and Rush Limbaugh, 1-800-282-2882. Back to the phones to LaGrange, Indiana. Brad, hi. Glad you waited. Thank you.
Hello, Rush.
Hello.
Ditto says it all.
Thank you.
I just wanted to call and let you know I'm a former Marine. I spent 5.5 years in the Marine Corps, and for 13 of those months I spent in Beirut, Lebanon, and I survived the bombing in 1983, which killed 241 men. And your comments in the last few days and weeks about Bosnia just really summed it up really good. Just that whenever we've gone into a situation without clearly defined missions and goals and rules of engagement, we've always, the military men have paid the price for it. They've always been the ones that was left behind and left to clean up their lives after it all. And I just really appreciate the comments you made, and I'm very glad that we've taken a more reasonable stance about Bosnia.
Well, now let's say something here, because by the way, thank you very much. I'm always flattered when people notice these things, but I don't think that we can attach reason or a reasonableness to the decision made by the Clinton administration. And this is a key point. We are damn lucky that events happened as they did, but this is not the result of a reasonable decision. If it were a reasonable decision, they would have made it first before huffing and puffing and trying to put together a coalition. These people failed to try to do what they wanted to do. They wanted to send in some troops in a misguided mission. And what they did was simply try to cover themselves with this, well, we've just discovered the Civil War, and there are atrocities on all sides, and this is a problem from hell. Gee, we can't fix it. We're lucky. It's not the result of reason. This is this is one of those examples where this administration has swerved into the right thing to do.
Oh, yes. Every day something comes out of there. I got out in 85, and since then I've been working. I worked myself through to get a bachelor's and a master's, and I'm trying to return back in the into the Naval Reserve as a chaplain. And every day there comes something out of Washington where the military is being messed with and used as a political tool. And one thing that aggravated me is when he said, when things kept on coming out from Washington, that it's going to be based on popularity. It's going to be based on what the people want. If it's the right thing to do, you do it, and it's irregardless of the cost. If it's the right thing to stand up for another country or to defend another country, if it's the right thing to be involved in the military, you do what's right. You don't do what's popular.
Yeah, but then you have to know what's right. And there we still have a problem. We still are in a quagmire. Some people don't know what's right. I mean, what evidence do we have to suggest these people know what's right? Look at their lives. They have been spent in contempt for the use of force. The use of force has never been right, no matter what it's accomplished. So that's a fear. I mean, we got to be concerned here, folks. This is, while it's a time to go, whew, man, it's also a time to go, better pay close attention here, because this, I'm telling you, let me tell you how these people will sell out. Now, again, this is going to sound personal to you people, and it's not. I'm strictly reacting to policy. But you can't separate character from this. We heard all this moral outrage. We heard about how we're the leaders of the free world. We must act. Only we can act. What's going on over there is unacceptable. It's intolerable. How can we see it every day and not be moved? And then one day, we structure a way to just say, hey, they can't do anything about it, so it's over. Problem from hell. What about all that moral outrage? How can these people just casually cast aside what only yesterday was tearing them apart? How can you be torn apart one day, genuinely, and the next day, hey, we solved the problem and now we are going to fix the economy? How can you do that? The only way you can do it is when you were lying in the first place about how much you were torn apart, about how much you care. You say it so people see it. You bite your lower lip. You pause. You hope maybe a tear drop forms, and if maybe not, maybe your eyes will get misty. And then you convince people that your intentions and your concern and your compassion and your degree of involvement is far greater than theirs. But boy, if that's true, if it's not a creation, if it's not something that you are acting out, if it's true, then you just can't turn it off the next day. And that's why you've got to be concerned. That's why character matters, my friends. I'll tell you, when I'm right, I am awesome. Whew, it's scary out there. Okay, Wichita. Paul, welcome to the Rush Limbaugh program. Glad you called. Paul, you there?
Yeah, hey.
Hi.
Megadittos from the heartland, dude.
Thank you, dude.
Hey, listen, I'm renting a convertible tomorrow, heading up to Dan's bake sale.
Renting a convertible?
Yeah, I thought I'd,
You're going to have some nice-looking ladies in that convertible?
Nah, I'm going alone. Hey, I was wanting to ask you a question. I wonder if I could bring my dog, Spotty.
You want to bring your dog?
Spotty.